Okay, so today we're going to talk to Chelsea about her experience with photo shoot prep. She's the first person that I've seen come out and openly talk about the kind of negative effects of doing the photo shoot prep and what it actually did to her mental health. So I was delighted to actually see someone talk about it. So I asked her to come on and explain her story in a video form so we can hopefully try to help other people, maybe prevent people from doing it in the first place, or even help some people kind of feel more normal about how they're feeling after doing a photo shoot prep. So Chelsea, just to start off, I'd like to know why you actually decided to do this in the first place.
I decided to do it. Well, I was just doing my online coaching anyways, and I always seen the transformations, and I always thought it was just for PTs. And two of my friends ended up doing it before me, and they weren't PTs. So I just wanted to challenge myself. Like, I don't really drink or go out that much, and I've a really strong mindset. So I just wanted to challenge myself and see if I could do it. So yeah, that's how I ended up getting into it.
So you were doing online coaching with the same coach?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was no like pressure on you to do it or anything. You were just
No,
doing the
there
coach.
actually wasn't a pressure
You
on me to do it.
you were just kind of doing the coaching, training away, and then you seen a few other people do it, and you went to coach and went, listen, I see a few people do
Yeah,
this, I do this. Like,
yeah, exactly. So I just got into it that way. I was prepared for like how much work I was gonna have to put into it eventually, but I wasn't prepared for the after effects.
we'll get into that a bit later. I seen from your post that you actually kind of enjoyed the process during it. So
Yeah.
like when you started out, how many days training were you doing? How much cardio were you doing? Like, did it all, as soon as you said, I want to do a photo shoot, did it all change very quickly to, okay, now we're adding in 7 days a week cardio? How
Yeah.
much did your training change right at the start? And kind of when did you
So
enjoy
yeah,
it?
so for strength training it was the same. I changed my plans a few times. So some days it was 3 days on, 1 day off, and another one that might have been 2 days on, 1 day off. Like the strength training kind of remained the same. It was fine. But straight away my cardio started 7 days a week. So I started off on 35 minutes a day, 7 days a week, including rest days, and that was just it. Then eventually I went up to 45. I was on that for a while, and then I went up to an hour cardio every day, including rest days. Like, I didn't miss 1 day cardio, like, ever. And then I went, then towards the very end, it was an added 30 minutes post strength training, post weights. So I was on an hour and a half a day towards the end. At the start, I loved it. And I remember saying to my friends who don't know, I was like, oh, I'm loving this. Like, I feel great. And they're like, yeah, you will at the start.
Yeah.
And then it got more into it. And then I lost weight so quickly. In 1 week, I think I lost like 2 to 3 kg in a week or something. And then I was in the gym and I was actually putting my hair, like, tying it back. And I just noticed it was so thin. And I was like, oh my God, like, I feel like I'm losing my hair a bit here. And I texted my coach straight away and I was like, I feel like my hair is thin. And like, I know it is. Like, my hair is like so much to me. And then I was like, is this just, am I just going to have to suffer this till the end of prep or what? And then he was like, no, go get your bloods done immediately. So I went and got them done and they came back like perfectly fine, which is so weird. Like, I gave the doctor a big list of stuff and everything. That was about, I think that was like 6 or 7 weeks into prep. And then like, I noticed my calves like were always constantly bruised, like, for no reason. Like, I wasn't even banging into anything, and that was obviously like a lack of nutrients and everything. And then really quickly into it, I lost my period as well. So then, like, that was all kind of in the 1 week. Like, I noticed all those things. And then when my bloods came back fine, I was like, right, like, the bloods are fine, what am I meant to do here? There's nothing wrong. And then I just kept going and it was fine for another few weeks. And then I think I had like 6 weeks left and I just had a dip. Like, I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to get through these next 6 weeks. Like, I actually can't. But everyone around was like, you can, you can. And they were like, you're only 6 weeks left. You've done so much and everything. And then I got through it, but like the last 6 weeks were just horrible.
So the whole 6 weeks you felt like shit and just
Yeah, like
to keep
there
going.
was some days that were okay, but I was just you don't think you're hungry or in a bad mood until you look back and you're like, whoa, that affected me so much. Like
Mm. How quickly did the calories drop? So when you again went from normal strength training, like did you work on a calorie goal with your coach when you were doing just strength training? And then
so yeah,
if
so I
so,
was
like how
doing a
quickly did
normal
that drop?
fat
Like
loss phase. I was doing a normal fat loss phase. I forget what I was on before that. I think maybe 18, 1900, and then went down a bit. And then I've done a diet break right before I started prep. So my diet, I had a week of 2,300 calories maybe. And then I instantly went on to like 1,600 at the start of prep. And I was kind of like, oh, like, what am I going to be on 16 weeks out kind
yeah.
of thing if I'm on this starting it. And then, but it was fine,
What
like
was the time
1,600.
frame? Like when you were at the start, like so right at the start when you were put on 1600, did you know the time frame? Was it going to be like 3 months away or 4 months away or how
16
long?
weeks it was, yeah.
16 weeks total.
Yeah,
So you were going to drop obviously from 1600 in that phase of 16 weeks. How
yeah,
what was the lowest calories that you went to?
1,200.
1200.
Yeah,
So you're on 1200 calories at this point, doing 7 days a week cardio, an hour and a half each day, plus
yeah,
strength training
yeah,
every or 3 days on, 1 day off, so 6 days a week
yeah,
basically.
yeah, more or less.
So an hour and a half a day, and then 6 days a week of strength training. You're only on 1200 calories, and then you work quite a active job.
I work in a restaurant and so I was coming home some days and literally like my Fitbit was saying 30,000 steps. And I was like, oh my God.
That was absolutely outrageous.
Like,
It's no wonder that you felt like shit for the last six
yeah,
weeks. How long were you on that for? Was that the last 6 weeks you were on 1200, or was it longer or shorter?
I dropped from 1,600 really quick and like I didn't know why because I was losing a lot of weight and I was like, oh, like I don't really think I need to drop because I'm losing the weight, but I did anyways. Then I dropped to 1,400 and then it was 1,200 pretty quickly because it took a good while for me to go onto the hour cardio. My calories dropped before the cardio increased, and then it was just towards the end, I was on 1,200 for ages. But my protein was so high, I was on like 170 grams of protein. So I literally just tried to eat as much as I could, keep myself full, like in terms of meat and stuff.
Probably had literally zero carbs to be able to fuel those sessions. I don't know how you were even getting through them.
I know, I was
When you
on
tried to do that, I'd probably collapse
70
after
grams
day
of
one.
carbs. Yeah, it's tough.
Where, like, I know you're kind of saying the last 6 weeks didn't really feel so great. Where did it like really start to go bad when you realized that something wasn't right? Like you're like in your own head, like that you kind of were maybe judging yourself a little bit differently, or was
Yes.
it?
So my mom came home. My mom was in Australia and she came home 7 weeks before my shoot. Like she was home for 3 months, and then she got a couple of takeaways. And every night I used to come home from work at like 1 in the morning, and I'd be starving. But before I used to come home and eat like a packet of strawberries or something. Like I wouldn't eat in bed. And then one night I came home and she had a curry and she had left it there, and like I was proper deep into prep and like I had one chip and then I ate the whole thing then, and I was just thinking like, oh, like this is bad, like I couldn't control myself there.
Mm.
And then I think that happened a couple of times, and then I went over to my boyfriend Luke's and I was like sobbing. Like every Sunday I'd go over and I literally just start sobbing 1 week. And I was like, oh my God, I feel like what if this turns into an eating disorder? Like that feels like what it is, the way I feel like that guilt and shame after that and stuff.
Yeah.
And then but that only happened like maybe 3 times. And then it happened again in peak week, my last week, like I was on fats the whole week apart from one day of carbs. But
Mm.
one of the days I wasn't supposed to have carbs, and I had a lot of carbs that day, and I was like, oh no, like I literally couldn't control myself there. And I didn't tell anyone. I felt so ashamed. I was like, oh my God, like what if that ruins everything?
When you had these moments, did you tell your coach about any of these? No,
No,
you didn't
I
put
was
them in your
actually
food log, just didn't say anything.
just didn't say it.
Yeah. Did you feel like you couldn't say anything?
Yeah, I felt like I just felt like I couldn't. Like I was like, oh no. Because I just never had a bad relationship with food before. So this is all so new to me. Like,
Yeah. So
never had a bad relationship with food ever, ever. That's why I done it as well. Like, well, not why I done it, but that's why I was like, I'll be fine. Like, I'm fine with food.
so you only really related the kind of negative emotions because you were doing that shoot. Like, so you would have, if you weren't doing the shoot and you just went home and your man had a curry day, you just eat curry and then you go get up the next day and train like a normal day.
Yeah.
But when you done it now, there was a guilt attached to it. Did
Yeah.
you then the next day, did you try to overcompensate for that? Did you go, oh, I have to go and do the cardio, or I'll eat a little bit less, or was it in your head like the next day, or?
It was just in my head, like, and then it's just like you're just thinking constantly, like, well, if I do that again, I can't control myself. And I didn't eat less because I actually couldn't eat any less than what I was on. Like, I really couldn't. But I knew I was burning off like so many calories anyways that like I should have been on more and I could afford to be on more. Like that's kind of what I was saying as well to myself. I was like, no, Chelsea, like you should be on more anyway. So like that's fine. Like if you think of it on the average over the week, I was like, it's not that bad. But like at the back of my head, I was still like, why did I do that? I'm so disappointed in myself. Like,
and when you come out, right? Well, actually, let's just think about the moment that you do the shoot. When you do the shoot, did you get like the satisfaction that you thought you were going to get? Like, you know, when you're in that mode and you see like all
yeah,
these girls doing this transformation and I want to look like that, I want to look like that, I'm going to challenge myself to look like that.
yeah.
Did you get the satisfaction the day you done the shoot, the day after you were looking at the thing? Did you get the kind of satisfaction that you were looking for, that you thought you were going to get?
Like to be honest, like the whole way through, I wasn't even really thinking about the shoot day. Like I didn't actually think my body was gonna get to the way it was because I'm not naturally like slim. Like my genetics are like big legs, big kind of everything. So then when I got that shredded, I was like, oh my god, like, and I did feel great on the shoot day. And you feel really fit like through prep. Like my resting heart rate was at like 35 like every day, and I was like, whoa, like that's mental. And shoot day was great, and then I went out that night like for a meal, and it was my auntie's 50th, so it was nice to like have freedom that night and be around everyone. But then I literally like felt sick for the whole weekend from eating like food, and I didn't even binge that weekend. I just had like your normal going out food, and I felt so sick because obviously my body wasn't used to it. And then I enjoyed that. My shoot was a Friday, so I was like, I enjoyed Friday, Saturday, and Sunday a bit. And then Monday I got back training, and I did. And I tried to track the calories, and then like it was just like a vicious cycle of I'll start tomorrow. And that was just when it started. Like, and I knew one night I came back from work and I had tracked my calories. I had ate all my calories. I went straight from 1200 to 1900, which was 1900's fine. Like you can eat that easily, but then one night I came home from work and I ordered a pizza. So I got like a full meal deal, like full pizza, chicken dippers, 4 cookies, right? And I ate the whole thing after all my 1900 calories, and I didn't feel one bit full. Like I was still extremely hungry, and I was like, what the hell? That's mental. Like, why am I still hungry? I used to have that with someone and feel satisfied.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this is like crazy. Like it's my body saying, like thinking I'm gonna starve it again, and it's just constantly so hungry.
Yeah, and then that probably gets in your head, and then you're worried, like, what if I develop a kind of an eating issue, or what's going on here? What's going on in my head? Like,
and then like coming out of it at Christmas, like it's December, like everyone was buying box of chocolates and work. I was coming home to box of chocolates, and I was like, oh, this was, and it's like a 24/7 thing. Like I'd be sitting on the bus just thinking about like what's gonna happen. Like I was so drained, like, and I still think about it, but it's nowhere near as bad. But I'm lucky. I was so aware of it straight away. Do you know, some people might not really realize as much, but like straight away, I'm just like, oh no. And then my mom came up to the room one night and I was like kind of crying, and then she was like, what's wrong? And I just started bawling, and I was like, you need to put your curries in the bin, you need to put the chocolate away. Like I'm gonna binge. Like I literally can't control myself. And I feel like people don't talk about it because I think it's like a lack of mental toughness or something, but it's just not that at all. Like it's your body's actually been through something mental.
I think that's kind of what's been put out there by some coaches. If you couldn't do it, you're the problem. Like, do you know what I mean? Like you're weak, or you're not mentally strong. But I think that the true case is probably that 90% of people that are doing it are feeling the exact same way you did or similar, and they're just not talking about it.
Yeah.
Even the coaches probably that are putting it out there don't want to admit it to themselves that they felt that way. Like, you know, the way if
Yeah.
they want to be the coach, I want to prove to people that I did this and I felt okay and I'm great and I'm doing great and I'm fit and I'm healthy and I look like this. But truth be told, they're probably feeling the same thing somewhere deep down, you know?
Yeah. And like it's hard, like because people are like, you can't put on that much body fat like in this amount of time. Yeah, you can. When you go from
Yeah.
1,200 calories to a binge, like your body just holds on to everything is fat and you can put on a lot of body fat in that amount of time.
Did that like the way you're talking now seems a lot that it was more down to the actual eating, the physical amount of eating that was getting in your head. Was there any like body image issues where you're kind of looking going, I look like that, I want to look like that again, or am I putting on weight too fast, or was there anything that you kind of looked
Oh,
at
like
your
I
body?
put on weight way too fast, and it was more like it wasn't even like I I knew like I didn't like how skinny my legs had gotten or anything. Like I didn't mind putting on weight in certain areas again pretty quick, but it was more the thing of like if I can put on that amount of weight this quick, what am I gonna be like in a month's time? Kind of thing. If I
Mm,
can't control this, like that's what you're thinking. It's not like wouldn't be thinking I'm fat now. What I'm thinking, if I keep going like this, what am I gonna be like in a month? Like if I actually can't control this.
yeah. You're
That
kind
was
of
like
more worried about being able to get out to break the cycle and get out of that process. Like,
yeah. Yeah, like training was fine. Like I still went to the gym like pretty much the whole of December, like because I enjoy the gym. Like, and I still done after my shoot. I was supposed to do 25 minutes cardio then after weights, and then just a 40-minute power walk on my rest days. But like, some I don't know. Like it's just you just come out of it and you come out of like that whole big all or nothing approach, and then it's just so hard. Then
kind of find the routine and get back to your normal ways of training
yeah,
or whatever. Do you think like if you never done this, you ever would have reached that point? Like, do you think like if you just went to the gym training, just done your strength training, done whatever, you ever would have had these issues going, worrying about binge eating, worrying about where you're gonna put on weight, things like that
no.
ever would have happened?
I
Like,
don't. Definitely not. Because I literally like never had one bad thought of a relationship with food. Like never had any issues. So
was there
like I
any like
just
support offered actually afterwards? Because you think that would be
no,
something that would be logical, wouldn't it? If someone, if you know that a lot of people are going to be driven to this, some sort of support or advice of where to go or what to do or help to deal with
no,
this, like,
nothing. Like I was just made aware of how hard I was gonna have to work through prep. Nothing about like what can happen afterwards.
mm.
Like it's just it's mad.
Would I kind of like don't advise anyone to do this to start with, but obviously professional bodybuilders do this every day and they're working with top probably sports scientists, fucking
Yeah,
psychologists, everything they have. So if you're doing it as a professional sport, I kind of understand, or I know
yeah,
these people can do it and maybe they can be okay, or maybe they'll look back in 10 years and realize like some of them have come out and said that it wasn't so good for them. But if we're just talking the average girl like yourself goes to the gym, trains 3 or 4 times a week, and is looking at these before and afters the same way you were, would you advise anyone in that position to go through this process and do it?
no, like it just not, definitely not. Like, 'cause you might think like if you're like me, like if I had heard me talking, like I probably would have been like, oh, I'll still be grand. So like if some people really want to do it and they're still gonna go ahead with it, that's fine. But like really like think about it, like just because you're okay now with food and you've never had a problem, like it does not mean that you're gonna be fine. Like
Mm.
it's actually the most horrible thing I've ever been through after. Like and
Yeah.
no one gets like if you haven't done it, you don't get it.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and people, that's why people are afraid to talk about it, probably because they think people are going to be thinking, oh, like, she just shouldn't binge, like, she's just not able. But it's so common and just not enough people talking about it.
We're
Like, I
probably
did,
all feeling the exact same. You said that a couple of your friends done it. Did your friends have any issues after, or were they just okay?
no, like, they put on body fat after, but they were so fine with it. So that's why I just, and then I had a couple of people text me after they seen me talking a bit about it. One girl, she was a PT, she said, she was the exact same as me. She binged her way back to the original weight she was before she started, which is pretty much what I done.
Mm.
And then another person texted me saying she put on a significant amount of kg within 6 weeks after, same amount that I put on. And I was like, oh, like so I'm not going insane. This isn't just me.
Yeah.
Like that's what like I would have rather like people like that. Why don't they speak up about it as well? Like I know like it's hard, but I just think it'll help so many people. And then like I felt better then when I spoke up about it because then people felt comfortable telling me like they went through the same thing. So I knew I wasn't going mad then. Like this is other people as well.
Yeah, that's why I wanted you to do this, because you talking about it might make one other person feel open to talk about it. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden people, young girls that are going through the same process or in where you were, 6 weeks ago or whatever, can look and go like, oh, I'm not like, going insane here. Or maybe they can text you and go, listen, I'm feeling this way and this way. And then you go, I felt the exact
Yeah.
same and I've got over it. This is what I've done, or this will help me. And they
Yeah.
can actually find help, and people start to help each other kind of pull out of that kind of
Yeah, because all
mental
you
state
see
that
is
they're in.
people talking about their successful rebounds. And that just makes you feel way worse because it's like, is everyone just getting a successful rebound? And coaches saying, this is what a successful rebound looks like. Only 3 kg put on in 3 months. It's like, what? I'm saying, oh, because they ate like an adult, they done what they're supposed to do and stuff like that. But like, I'm 21, like, I didn't even go to the gym before prep. Like I went to the gym years ago and done a few classes, but I never done my own thing. So like I was so vulnerable to like all this, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing. You always look at coaches as if they have your best interest at heart, when a lot of the time, especially in the current state of fitness industry, they don't. They
No,
have a before and after in their mind. That's all. They don't give a shit about your mental or
no,
physical
it's their
health.
business at the end of the day. They want more clients and more money, and like the
Yeah,
best way to
and
get it
that's what they're
is
getting.
or not.
If you walk out the door after training for 6 months with me and you feel good mentally, you feel strong, there's no major visible changes, but you feel 100% amazing. Nobody hears about that. Nobody sees that.
Yeah,
If you feel totally shit, you're binging, you're worried about whether you're developing an eating disorder, you don't know what's going on in your own head, but the before and after picture doesn't tell any of that story. It just goes up there and everyone goes, oh, that looks amazing. She looks great. You know what I mean?
yeah,
How
yeah,
many,
exactly.
it's an interesting thought process I just had there. How many people did respond positively to your shoe, and then how many people responded to you openly talking about it? Was there a difference there? Like, did more people like hype you up when you done the shoe than responded to you actually going, do you know what? I felt
I
shit
was
after
really
that.
interested in that as well because I remember putting up my shoe pictures and like I didn't get like on my first picture I got like loads of likes, not that I done it for likes, and then
Hmm.
people really, I don't know, I think people hate to clap for you when you win, but then
Yeah,
I knew when I put up the post talking about how I felt, I was like, I bet you this is gonna get loads of people's interest, and
yeah.
it did. Like everyone was really interested then. It's like, oh, like people,
So
some people love to see you when you're down, but I hate to see you when you're in. But then I'm like, I know they're probably like interested in the real stuff about it as well.
the real reason is probably because when you look like you're winning, they don't feel like they're winning, so they feel like shit looking at you, going, "Oh, look, she looks amazing and she feels great." But when you openly talk about it and go, "Do you know, I didn't feel great," that's how
Yeah,
they're feeling. So they're looking,
yeah.
going, "Oh, this, I feel more normal in myself now. Fair play to this girl for putting that out there because it makes me feel more normal." Like, do you know what I mean?
I have people saying to me on prep, "Oh, I'd love to have your body," and it's like, well, I'm not lucky. Like I literally am miserable getting this body, so
Yeah.
you probably wouldn't love to have my body.
You'd probably rather be happy and not miserable, be able to eat whatever you want and go out with your mates
Yeah,
and do whatever and not have to worry about anything, you know?
yeah. Like prep gave me a lot of confidence, and even though like I'm not happy with how much body fat I put on since then, like I am much more confident now. Like I will say that, and I'm kind of accepting the amount of body fat I put on now, and I'm
Mm.
starting to like not binge really anymore. Like I'm still not great. Like I might have two. The other day I had like 2 bars, and I was like, oh god. But then I was like, no, Chelsea, I had like a full box of chocolates like before Christmas. You're coming along a lot.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. Yeah, step by step, kind of getting yourself there.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
how's your training going now? Like, are you training to kind
Yeah.
of a normal standard, just trying doing your strength training? Or do you still feel like you have to do X amount of cardio, or are you just kind of like relaxed a bit more
No,
now?
I just decided the other day, a few weeks ago, I decided to stop calorie counting because I was like, this is
Mm.
just too triggering. And then the other day I was just like, dreading going to the gym because I was dreading the cardio, and then I was like, do you know what? I'm just not going to do the cardio for a while. I just go on the odd run here and there
Yeah.
for my head and I'm just trying to get my steps up. But I'm just like, I love the strength training, and I'm sick of the cardio now. So I'm just gonna wait until I'm ready to do a bit more again if I want it, and just focus on the strength now.
I think cardio, when it's forced to an extent like that, an hour to an hour and a half every single day, is going to make you miserable. Like cardio, when you decide in your time to go for a run, put your headphones in, listen to some music or a podcast, you come home and you feel great.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
when someone's forcing you to do it 7 days a week, an hour and a half,
Yeah,
you've done it for a
that's
long
it. Yeah.
time, it doesn't feel the same. You're not getting the same kind of mental benefits from it.
Like after I do one spin class a week, I enjoy that because that's a class and I feel motivated as well. But like after doing the Stairmaster for that long, for 4 months, I was like, no, I actually can't anymore. I really can't.
Sick of the sight of the thing.
Yeah, I really am.
I think we've kind of gone through everything of how you felt and how it went. Before we end it, is there any advice that you'd like to give to people, maybe thinking about doing it, going through it, or feeling the way you were feeling after it? Is there anything that kind of helped you, or is there a stage that you went look back and go, I should have stopped that with 6 weeks to go, or I should have just stopped it right at the start, or anything like that? Like,
I should have stopped it. Like if people do decide to go ahead, like number one, really think about it and make sure you have a good support system in terms of like parents, everything, because a lot of people don't get it, but like you're just asking for the support. If you do feel that way, like if you start getting those thoughts, like just stop. Like my ego just wouldn't let me, and I was like thinking about the day of the shoot, and I was like, if I get to that day and I'm after quit and I'll be raging, but like I just should have looked after myself first and went and talked to someone straight away. So I just think no one actually cares about the pictures. Like people look at it like you say well done, but no one actually cares or thinks about it. So if you do decide to go ahead and do it and end up feeling some sort of way, just stop and definitely reach out to me, because I'd be happy to sit and talk to people about it. Like,
yeah, definitely be beneficial for people to hear it from someone who's been there and done that and is willing to actually be open about how they felt instead of just lying and saying they felt great the
like
whole time.
I've gone to the extremes. Like I couldn't have binged anymore. Like I literally cleared the presses like with the chocolate. So like don't be anything anyone else. And people are like, you couldn't have put on that much fat. Yes, I did. Trust me. But yeah, I just don't feel ashamed. Just you'll help people by talking about it and just think about it before you get into it.
Yeah. Right. Thanks for sharing. I'm going to hit the record or stop the record.